So sorry about that. Am I alive? Am I back? So sorry about that, guys. My internet just cut out a fucking gain. Oh, fuck you, BT. Fuck you up the ass. So, where was I? As I was saying, like, who here was a fan of the Mega Man games? Anyone? Is anyone a fan of the Mega Man games? Yeah, I'm the same fan. I've never played them. But if you don't know, Capcom did announce that there was going to be another Mega Man game. In fact, this game had been hyped for quite some time, and then they scrapped it. And of course, I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce their names. Two major players from Capcom have left the industry lately, including one who was a PR representative who wanted to develop games, but Capcom wouldn't let him. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce their names. Seth Killen, that's it. I think that's one of them. He left. And that is a major blow to Capcom. Capcom have been slowly but surely dying. Mainly because of all their bad decisions that they've been making, if you ever haven't made that abundantly clear. Especially also with their drastic changes in latest games. Like, the Resident Evil franchise is a prime example. When the Resident Evil franchise first came out, it was cheesy, the controls were pretty bad, let's face it. The graphics, for the time, were good, but they haven't dated very well. And very blocky, but they were good games. Resident Evil 2 is still to this day one of my favourite survival horrors, as I've stated. Mainly because it actually got the atmosphere right. It was meant to make you feel scared, terrified. You're meant to scavenge as much as you possibly can. And then, of course, what happened? Slowly but surely, they turned the Resident Evil franchise into an action game. Try Amnesia. No! I'm sorry, I ain't touching Amnesia with a 10-foot fucking barbed pole. I have seen gameplay footage of that, and that alone scared me. Well, let me guess, you'd actually want me to play it and record my reactions to it, don't you, you sick bastards? Don't you? And another reason why I can't play it, I don't have a good enough PC. I don't have a good enough PC to play it, sorry. I'm broke, as I've stated in many occasions. But, let's get back to the topic. But, as I've stated, like, the Resident Evil franchise is a prime example of how basically Capcom have changed. If you look back to the early days of Capcom, and with the Resident Evil games, they were very impactful, and they slowly but surely evolved as games, evolving the T-Virus into something like the G-Virus, then I think it's the C-Virus now, and turning them into more action games, really forgetting what the Resident Evil franchise is about. It's about survival horror. You're meant to feel scared, you're meant to feel helpless in most cases, and you're meant to, most of the time, run away. I remember in Resident Evil 2, I ran away more times than I fucking stood and fought. And even when I did stood and fought, I made sure I had plenty of fucking ammo. I must have saved up every bullet I got. Point and click games. Oh, please don't get me started on point. I'm not a big fan of point and click, sorry, but let's get back to that. Yeah, a lot of people have stated that Dragon's Dogma is actually a good game, and I'm not debating that. I've not played it, so I can't judge it. I've heard good things about it, and also bad things about it. But as I stated, I haven't played it, so I can't judge it. As I said, it didn't really appeal to me, and plus, at the moment, I'm broke. I can't say anything else about it. I can't get any new game. But, yeah, as I say, it's like, really, for me, it's just the way Capcom are gone at the moment. They're slowly but surely bleeding out. And eventually, they're just going to end up keeling over, especially if they keep making stupider and stupider and stupider decisions. Minecraft's scarier because of the fucking creepers. I've never played Minecraft, by the way, and the creepers scare me because it's just like, yeah, kind of creepy. I won't say that right now, but for fuck's sake, I'm pretty sure Resident Evil 5, for an example, is not scary at all. I never jumped once when I was playing it. It was enjoyable. It was an enjoyable game. Are you a fan of the Dead Space franchise? I'm a fan of watching people play the Dead Space franchise. Let's say that. It really didn't appeal to me, if I'm going to be honest. Did you find RE4 scary? I actually haven't played Resident Evil 4. I've seen playthroughs of it. Resident Evil 4, even though it did look kind of scary, I never once jumped while I was watching it. But since it's on Xbox Live, if I get any money, I'll play it, and maybe then. Which of the Resident Evil games is best? In my opinion, 2. If I'm going to be honest, Resident Evil 2, in my opinion, is the best. But yeah, that's all I'm gonna say on that factor. But as a oh shit, long ass thing. Yeah, it's all different opinions. A lot of people will say number one's the best, number two's the best, number three's the best. Some people even say number 4 and 5 are the best. But it's just that if you look at the early Capcom games, you can see that there was a lot more passion and a lot more dedication going into them than modern games. A lot of the modern Capcom games are fucking horrible, and it all comes down to blame on the modern mindset of these marketing individuals who think that if this is doing well, then the games have to be like that. So we use I'm going to have to use it, but since Call of Duty fucking came out, everyone thinks that you have to be an action-packed game. And they get rid of all the suspense, all of the major parts of the franchise. Let's face it, the Resident Evil franchise had a pretty stock story. It was innovative, innovative, I can't say the word. It was groundbreaking for the time. Really getting a good sense of the survival horror game. What made Resident Evil 2 good for me was the atmosphere, and I'm a big part of that in games. If the atmosphere doesn't work for what you're trying to feel, that's the problem for me. You mean Telltale's Walking Dead game? And I haven't played them, but I've watched playthroughs of them and I'm enjoying them, watching them, but I don't play point and clicks because I'm no good at them and I'm horrible at them. There's a Walking Dead first-person shooter coming out. Oh, fuck's sake. That's it. Done. Fuck it. Fuck. Gaming is dead. Gaming is fucking dead. What the hell? What? Oh. Look, I haven't read the Walking Dead comics. I've only watched the Walking Dead TV series. And in my opinion, The Walking Dead isn't about the fucking killing of zombies. It's about fucking the people. That sounded wrong. That sounded so wrong. It's about the people. It's about that. It's not about the zombies. And if you're going to make it into a first-person fucking shooter, here's my advice for you. Don't do it. The Walking Dead is about survival. About how people would cope after basically the zombie apocalypse. It's not about killing zombies. In fact, in the most cases, you should be avoiding zombies with the fucking plague. Because they are the fucking plague. That's it. It shouldn't be a first-person shooter. If you're going to make a Walking Dead game, make it a third-person game, but don't make it a first-person shooter. Have shooting mechanics in it, but make it a third-person action game. Or better yet, make it a survival horror game. Like the old Resident Evils. Like Amnesia. Like all of those classic ones. If they were planning on making a Walking Dead game, then they would have to make it a story-driven game. It can't be anything else. What does the camera... Look, here's the thing. A survival horror game, in my opinion, is always best when it's third-person. First-person survival horror games really only work like games like Amnesia, which you have no combat skills. But in The Walking Dead, you'd need combat skills, whether it be melee or, of course, weaponry like firearms and all that. So it would have to be third-person shooter, in my opinion. Like Skyrim? Not really, in my opinion. Like, Skyrim's an RPG, first-person works alright, but third-person works as well. But if I'm gonna be honest, it makes more sense if I was making it. I would have to say it would have to be a third-person one, in my opinion. Just to be perfectly honest. If I'm gonna be honest. So, yeah. The Dead Trenches, the Dead Trenches were creepy and Dragon Age, I will say that. But, like, we'll use that as a huge example. As I said, Resident Evil 2 had the best survival aspect for me because it was third person. It was you were like moving like that and moving like that, but it worked for the game. What's that? Have you played Alone in the Dark? Fuck Alone in the Dark. It can go fuck itself. Not the original series, the new one on Xbox 360. It can go fuck itself. It was horrible, in my opinion. It was fucking shit. But let's get back to the topic. As I say, like, survival horror games have been dead for years. It's no pun intended. Um, there hasn't been a great survival horror game in years. And by the way, I'm not really counting Dead Space because it's a sci-fi horror game. It's not a survival horror game. It's a sci-fi horror, in my opinion. Even though you have to survive, it's more of a sci-fi horror. Alan Wake, I consider Alan Wake more of an action-adventure game because it may have horror aspects to it, but it plays more like an action-adventure game. And the atmosphere I get from it when I played a little bit of it was more of a action adventure with a little bit of dead in it. Left 4 Dead is not a survival horror game. It's a fucking zombie massacre game. That's all you do in the game. You shoot fucking zombies and that's it. It's not survival horror. I'm not saying Amnesia isn't. I've not played Amnesia. I've only seen people play it, so I can't fucking say anything about it. I've only seen people play it. That is a survival horror game, yes, but I haven't played it, so I can't judge it. Yeah, I have checked out PewDiePie. I have checked him out, and he is pretty funny, I will admit that. But here's the thing. A survival horror game, for me, has to be a game where you're able to defend yourself, but the most time you'll want to conserve your energy or your ammo